How's it going? Good afternoon. This is Ramon, and we're talking today about the so-called failure of Trump Care and Ryan Care. And I say so-called because, yes, it is a failure. The whole thing was a fucking joke from the beginning, and we have to really start to ask, what was Trump trying to do there, and if he really wanted the bill to succeed, because in my mind, that's not really what was going on. I think if it would have succeeded in passing, he would have been fine with it. He would have had absolutely no problem backing a plan that was unsustainable, even though it was the wrong policy. Why was it the wrong policy? Because the American Health Care Act would basically say we're going to keep together a lot of the same price fixing mechanisms that Obamacare had, a lot of the same market limits, including the state borders that controlled the market. All of those things would have stayed in place. And the only difference was that many of these penalties, instead of paying them to the IRS, you would end up paying them to the insurance companies. And as you know, if you're a free market advocate, you never want to start advocating for cartels. This would have really just promoted the same limited market, the same lack of competition that we have today in the insurance market. There's less competition in the insurance market today than there was when President Obama took over. That's partially a result of the pathetically hampered insurance market that neither President Bush or President Obama fixed. This is the one issue where all of our presidents, including now President Trump, have completely bungled the problem. It doesn't make any sense to keep insurance as under price fixing, and to keep insurance limited by state lines so that providers can't provide them, nationwide to a wide range of customers. Why isn't it the same way with car insurance, and why isn't it the same way with home insurance? I've never heard the answer to that question. It's really just a way for these insurance companies to blackmail us into buying products that are practically a form of extortion. Okay, this doesn't happen in any of the other insurance industries, at least not to this level. You could argue, for example, that car insurance is required in almost every state, but why was it required that people buy car insurance? It wasn't for the benefit of the policyholders. It wasn't for the benefit of the drivers. Car insurance was made mandatory mostly as a way for insurance companies to solve the problem where they had to insure people that had gotten into accidents that were policyholders, and the other driver was a non-policyholder, so they couldn't collect on their insurance. They couldn't collect damages. If the other driver was indigent, couldn't pay the damages, then the insurance company was out for the full sum and they couldn't collect anything. So, this is a real mystery why we are suddenly using healthcare as a way to guarantee the profits of insurance companies. It's one of the reasons that the progressives have so much clout. They can legitimately say that the way that the insurance industry works today, the way that the insurance legal structure works today, that we are really seeing only a way of enriching the insurance companies. There's nothing you can argue with them about. The only dispute is whether there should be private insurance at all. And we believe, those of us that believe in limited government, we say that this isn't a real market. This isn't a real way for people to pick and choose what they want. And it wasn't under Obamacare. It wasn't the way it was before Obamacare. It's been a joke for decades. The real reason that I'm talking to you right now, though, is because we have to talk more about what the strategy is. Why is it that Mr. Trump decided to do this? I don't really think he wanted the AHCA to pass, and I think most other people know. Most other people that really can read between the lines know that this has nothing to do with supporting Paul Ryan's healthcare plan. And he doesn't, I mean, yes, he is to blame if he allowed this to end up being called Trump care. He should have never supported it to begin with. But I think there was a dark strategy in place. If it would have passed and it would have failed, he could have used it as leverage to completely repeal everything. Okay, I think that would have been the worst strategy, because who's to say that when the House Republicans will actually support a new bill to go into the next stage? They were talking about a three-stage policy. You don't need a three-stage policy. The only policy you need is repeal. Okay, you repeal that, and you repeal all these regulations limiting interstate competition, interstate plans, and all that. That is the real answer. There is nothing that I can see that legitimizes the GOP's commitment to this ridiculous plan. Now, the real ulterior motive, as most people know now, is that Donald Trump does not like Paul Ryan. And most conservative voters don't like Paul Ryan either. There was a real effort during last year's election to primary him and put in a guy who was an even bigger right-wing wingnut. That didn't work, obviously, because he's still in the House. But what Trump did was he had Paul Ryan do the majority of the campaigning for it. Trump went out there and did it too. But people aren't going to, the real Trump supporters, the idiots that will just support everything that he says, and that's a problem, okay? You can't just support everything this guy says just because you voted for him. He's the president. He's not your lord, okay? But anyway, they're not going to care that he supported a failed bill. I mean, they didn't care that he supported a failed executive order on immigration, because the bottom line is that they believe they're committed to this man's strategy for the country, and they know they will never blame him for things that are even his fault. Okay, so don't even expect any drop in real support for Donald Trump due to this bill. There's going to be all these polls coming out saying his popularity has gone down and his approval rating has gone down. Those things are irrelevant. There's no election going on soon. There's nothing going on soon. Okay, so what does it matter, his approval ratings? I was watching the entire term of Barack Obama. They were talking about his approval rating, his approval rating. His approval rating only matters close to the election, and that's if it's an accurate sample. Okay, that is something that the media has never learned to process. So he got Paul Ryan to put his name all over this pathetic plan, if you can even call it that. And now that it's failed, it's in Paul Ryan's lap. Then he tweets out that Judge Jeanine Pirro, who has a show on Fox, people should check out her show the following night. And what does she do? The first thing she does is call for Paul Ryan to resign. I mean, it's an obvious ploy by Donald Trump to get the Republican Party to dump this guy who's always been a thorn in his side. Once they get rid of him, in the House, there's a lot more people willing to support Donald Trump than in the Senate, because there's only 8 Republicans getting put up to the ballot in 2018 in the Senate. Okay, the entire House is going to be up for a vote for Donald Trump. So the people, whoever is going to want to be House Speaker, has to be practically a Donald Trump supporter. Otherwise, it's very likely that in his district, Trump will support some other dude that will primary him and dump him. So this could be one of the best political ploys. I mean, there's so many that I've seen him do, but this could be, another masterstroke, which, I'm not a total fan of Donald Trump, but in terms of strategy, I'm an absolute fan. If you want to talk about people that know how to really outsmart others, and if it's not him, then it's Steve Bannon, but whoever's doing this really has to be given a tip of the hat. Then the other thing I noted was that, and you can find this on struttingleopard.blogspot.com, my blog. It says, Trump could be angry at the Freedom Caucus, but I don't really care. In fact, whether he's angry or not, the Freedom Caucus is irrelevant. All of the Freedom Caucus members, first of all, their one member in the Senate, Rand Paul, isn't up for re-election until 2022. He got re-elected last year, so he has no reason to worry about anything. He's not up for by the time he's up for re-election, Donald Trump is going to be a lame duck president. So there's no reason for Rand Paul to even worry about this empty threat from Donald Trump. The other people in the caucus, there's 31 Republicans in the House that are members of the Freedom Caucus. All they have to do is go back to the residents and say, well, I told you I wanted to repeal Obamacare. I just want to repeal it. This is what I wanted. And you voted for me based on that, and you should support me. And they're probably, the majority of them are going to continue to have the support of their constituents, because even if their constituents are good, solid supporters of Donald Trump, people that Donald Trump can depend on, it doesn't matter, because the district itself is it's usually so right-leaning. Justin Amash, for example, in Michigan, he's not going to be primaried, and he's not going to be defeated in the general election. The guy is not going to be knocked out. The guy, Mark Meadows in North Carolina, he's not going to be knocked out either. Everything that Trump's saying in regards to the Freedom Caucus is it might even just be bluster. He might not even be really mad at them. They might have done his work for him by torpedoing Paul Ryan. Okay, all he has to do is play these House Republicans against each other, and he might even work it out so that one of their guys ends up being like a deputy House Speaker, or whatever it is, the House Majority Leader, House Majority Whip, or whatever. They cannot get majorities in the House without the Freedom Caucus anymore. It's impossible. They're the swing votes. Okay, so they're effectively what they call in parliamentary politics the crossbenches. Those that aren't really the opposition, and those that aren't really the government side. Those that are in support of the administration. Now, the other issue is that the Democrats are celebrating that the bill failed, but there's no cause for celebration. That's what they don't understand. The ACA is going to fail. The only question is, will it be cut down before it fails, or will it be cut down after it fails? Because, as I've already explained, the insurance providers are pulling out. They don't want to participate in it. The people that are signing up for these exchanges are more of a liability than they're a benefit. They're instantly filing claims and everything. That it's just a massive cost to the insurance companies. And as anybody will acknowledge, it doesn't matter what side you're on, the insurance companies don't actually care about the interest of the patient. They're in it for the money. So this idea that, Obamacare is going to survive. Yeah, if it survives into next year, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. There was already a 116% increase in the premiums for some plans in Arizona last year. This year, you could see even steeper rises. Okay, so you could see plans that are potentially $1,000 premiums a month in some states. There will also, it's already known, there's no controversy. This is not something that's been made up or anything. A lot of these areas of the country will have no coverage whatsoever. There will be no available plan. So you can forget about Obamacare really being saved. It doesn't mean coverage for all if there's no plan. Okay, so those of you that are saying that Obamacare, it's going to lose millions of people are going to lose their insurance. If Obamacare stays, millions of people could lose their insurance. Okay, a lot of people will have no option. That's just a fact. I don't know how to explain it any other way. And this notion that Obamacare can be improved is also a complete myth. Okay, first of all, the insurance companies are already being pulled out. What is the alternative? What's the way to fix it? The only alternative, okay, first of all, would be to bribe them to come back, which would be a huge, it's not even a Donald Trump huge. It's like 20 Donald Trump huges. It's like Donald Trump and Andre the Giant and James and the Giant Peach. That's how huge it is. It would be a huge boondoggle, an unpopular decision for the Democrats or the Republicans to propose giving corporate welfare to these insurance companies in order to get them to rejoin Obamacare. Because without insurance companies in Obamacare, there is no Obamacare. That's what people have to understand. There is no Obamacare without insurance companies participating in Obamacare. Okay, it's not, some people, they keep arguing with me. They're saying, well, Obamacare is not what we really need. We need single payer medicine. Well, that's funny. You should talk about that. Obamacare is explicitly not single payer. Okay, so stop bringing it up. And second of all, as the left, the far left would acknowledge, it doesn't matter if you're talking about Jimmy Dore and Jordan Sheridan on TYT. It doesn't matter if you're talking about, what's that other guy, Kyle Kulinski? Well, he's also on TYT. H.A. Goodman. They all know that the real Democratic base is in favor of single payer. What they also know is that the Democratic establishment, the people that are actually in positions of power, will never, never in their lives support single payer medicine because they're in the pockets of insurance companies too. So they have no interest in doing it. You're fucked either way. That's why you don't understand, Democrats. You don't have there is no strategy for you. There is no strategy for you. The Democratic Party has already committed to its own defeat. It doesn't have an out. They've already they've already turned the corner into a blind alley, into a dead end. That's what's happened. Anyway, so check out my article. I'm going to post it along with this video in the description. And, let me know what you think. I think that any way you look at it, Donald Trump is going to have a lot of different knives to throw in this fight. And the Democrats don't have many. So this is Ramon with Bold Like a Leopard. You can find me at Bold Like a Leopard on Facebook, at Chef Leopard on Twitter. You can find me at Bold Like a Leopard on YouTube. There's so many of these now. struttingleopard.blogspot.com for my blog, including this. And then there is my new thing on VidMe. I can give you the address. It's vid.me/Chef Leopard. So have a great day. This is Ramon with Bold Like a Leopard, and see you around the bend.